Ilya, give me just 2 minutes before you start my timer. Would you have some public service announcements to make?
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. I want to start, if I may, by saying just a couple of things. One, 2 years of COVID, 2 years of war, all the entertainment venues in this city have suffered. And after 2 years of being closed, this place is back in action. And I think that's worth a round of applause. Secondly, comedy is the hardest thing that there is. To get up here and try to be funny, extremely difficult. And everybody here, with the exception of a couple native speakers, are doing it in a language that is not their own. And that, to me, is worth a big round of applause. Third, I've only got 4, don't worry. Third, for the young starting out actress from Pro English Theater, if you don't know Pro English Theater, they are an institutional gem in this city. They do original theater in English, and they're the only ones doing that. If you don't know them, seek them out and go to see shows there. They do a phenomenal job. So welcome and good luck. Now I'm going to make a very dear friend of mine angry with me. You guys don't know that you have a national treasure here with you. Yes, you do. Tatiana, who just did her very first stand-up material, original stand-up material, is in fact a lifelong actress at the peak of her career. A film she did recently won Best Foreign Film Foreign Film in Berlin at the Berlin Film Festival. Tatiana, a national treasure, ladies and gentlemen. Currently, you can see her at the Left Bank Theater, a bunch of other theaters that I can't pronounce. She's doing like 6 live theater performances in and around Kyiv. Get her autograph and her schedule after we're done.
That's the name of the film.
What was the name of the film? What was the name of the film? I'm sorry. How is Kate? Katya. How is Katya? Oh yeah, she's pissed. Okay, Ilya, now my time. Go. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm wearing a suit tonight because despite all of the evidence, I am a grown-up. It's true, and when you're a grown-up, you have to do things you don't necessarily want to do. Right, like wear suits, pay your taxes, empty the litter box, etc. Those are just the things that go along with being an adult. Like knowing that when something comes in the mail and it's in a good box, you don't just throw that box away. You're going to need that box one day. And so that box goes someplace special where you know you keep your boxes, your good boxes, right? That's what being an adult is about. Dude over there has a closet full of boxes. Righteous. So on the subject of being a grown-up and being an adult and becoming an adult, I want to tell you the story of how my son went from being a kid to being a teenager. Because it was a remarkably short transition, let me tell you. It was his 13th birthday. We had a birthday party. He got a bunch of money. Okay. Next day, he's in his room for a couple hours cleaning the room out. He comes out with this pile of shit that he says he wants to yard sale. And it's all of his kids' stuff. He's getting rid of it. He's now a teenager. And he wants me to take him to the mall to a place called Spencer's. Does anybody know Spencer's? Some of us know Spencer's. Nobody knows Spencer's. Some of us know Spencer's. Okay.
Only the Americans.
Fucking Americans. We are the worst, aren't we? We just expect that we've exported all of our brands everywhere. Spencer's is a place where you can buy posters of your favorite rock bands and black lights and posters that light up under black lights and LED disco strips and really cool shit like that. We go to Spencer's. He transforms his room in one day from being, a little kid's room into a teenager room. Boom. The only thing that was missing was a bong. So I look at this and I say to him, hey buddy, now, do you guys know the Grateful Dead? Do we know the Grateful Dead in Ukraine? Not so much, huh? So the Grateful Dead was a hippie band that was known for having the best acid anywhere on the planet. It was less of a band and more of a traveling flea market of drugs, right? So, and you could see it, right? Like if you look at the FBI maps from the 1970s and 80s of the spikes of acid sales and incidents in America, right? It just followed the fucking Grateful Dead tour, right? And when I was a kid, I used to follow the Grateful Dead around. I was probably at about 60 shows. I was probably in about 30. These people who can tell you exactly how many shows they were in, I'm like, you weren't fucking there, pal. There's no way. Because I barely remember anything from 86 to 92. It's all just kind of a great, big, multicolored fluorescent blur. Anyway, so I used to follow the Dead around. My son knows about the Grateful Dead, more or less. And I say to him, hey buddy, you've never been to a rock and roll show. The Grateful Dead are playing at Madison Square Garden. Would you like to go see them with me on Halloween? And he goes, fuck yeah, man. Just like that, 13 now. Now, but here's the thing, here's my condition. I say to him, if we're gonna go see a Grateful Dead show, we have to go the way that you go to a Grateful Dead show. That means we don't buy tickets. We score tickets there. That means that we don't pay for this trip out of our pockets. We figure out a way to make money while we're there. And he's all down for that. He's gonna sell pins. He buys $200 worth of pins, gets a pin board, and he's gonna hawk these pins at the Grateful Dead show. It did not work out quite that way. We did score tickets on the street, face value, got in, no upcharges. He found it more difficult to sell the pins than he imagined it would be, but he did trade pins for other pins. And so he came home with a bunch of cool things that he had managed to barter his way into, which I was very happy about. On the way home from the show, which, by the way, was the only Dead show I had ever attended completely sober. I didn't even smoke a joint. When I tell you, this is the only Dead show I was ever in that I sat in my seat, the one that was assigned, before the show began, at intermission went for frozen yogurt, returned to my assigned seat before the show began again. It's a great experience. I highly recommend it. I really do. It is different from the normal course of events. On the way home, he says to me, hey, Dad, can we stop at Spencer's? I'm like, yeah, sure, pal, why? He's like, I'm going to return these fucking pins and get some shit I want. And I swear to God, he returned all those pins. Everyone had a unique barcode on it. The poor girl was there for an hour. He returned every pin and he got some more black lights and he was a happy camper for a while. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. That is the story of how my son went from being a kid to being a teenager in no time flat. Thank you.